Hi guys, how you doing? I'm here with Evil Kick. He just won this really important match for them against Reta. And the first question, of course, that I want to ask him is how is he feeling right now? Então, como que você está se sentindo agora nesse momento?
Muito realizado, né? Porque o começo do campeonato foi um pouco difícil pra gente, a gente estava meio sem ritmo e, cara, te falar a verdade, a gente tá um pouco acostumado já a apanhar no começo e buscar o prejuízo.
So, yeah, we are really, really happy. We also are really, we have the custom of like starting from the bottom and just playing and winning and just getting the win. And yeah, we are really, really happy that we just got this win. The second question that I want to ask him is which team he would like to confront in his first match. Qual time vocês gostariam de se enfrentar no seu primeiro match?
Eu quero buscar a minha revanche contra a M80, porque ficou um gostinho de que a gente poderia ter fechado o mapa, assim como os outros, mas a M80 pra mim, eu não sei pros os moleques do time, mas pra mim é a favorita daqui. E a gente ficou com aquele gostinho de que a gente conseguia ganhar deles, não conseguimos, mas é o time que eu quero a revanche, é M80.
We would really like to play against M80 because we couldn't win from them the first match, but it was really, really, really close. So yeah, we would love to play against M80 again and win. The second question that I want to ask him is if he can like talk to me how was that lower run from them and how could they just keep that mental intact without, yeah, like just coming back and winning the two last games that were the most important ones? Como que vocês fizeram para manter esse lower run com o mental intacto e também para ganhar essas últimas duas partidas que eram muito importantes para vocês?
Pra gente manter o mental, todas as partidas foram muito close, muito perto, exceto o segundo mapa da AK, que a gente entrou um pouco, deu um apagão no time. E a gente é um pouco acostumado já, como eu te falei, a sair de baixo e ir pra cima. A gente entrou meio sem ritmo no campeonato, a gente foi buscando ritmo dentro do campeonato e, cara, a gente conseguiu conquistar nosso objetivo por agora, mas ainda tem mais.
So we still have more going on. We are we know how to come from below and just win and yeah, get the win and be the best ones. So yeah. It was basically that. We started a bit messy and we just couldn't just close those closed games. Yeah. The last question that I want to ask him is that if they expected that this ascension would be that difficult and the level would be so high, and also if they expected that it was being really difficult to classify to playoffs. Então, vocês acham que o nível do Ascension ia estar tão alto e também se vocês achavam que ia ser tão difícil classificar para os playoffs?
Pra te falar a verdade, a gente veio muito confiante, achando que nós éramos os melhores. E chegamos aqui um pouco sem ritmo, fomos surpreendidos e acabou que... Mas a gente manteve a confiança em nós mesmos. A gente acredita ainda que somos os melhores, mas não fala isso.
Yeah, we were really, really confident of us. And yeah, it just surprised me the level that this Ascension has, but we're still really, really confident that we can win and just take this Ascension and go to Tier 1. Muito obrigada. Thank you very much, guys. Just stay here because we have M80 next against 2G.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? You make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.
Cara, eu acho que não precisa mudar nada. Claro que tem algumas coisas no jogo que não pode acontecer, mas eu acho que a gente entra num snowball e às vezes a gente fica sem ideia, mas não há nada tático, nada individual também. Eu acho que às vezes a gente só entra num snowball e a gente fica sem ideia e acaba no que dá, assim, os jogos, felizmente. Eles são muito bons, óbvio, os favoritos do campeonato, mas individualmente falando, eu não tenho medo de ninguém. Eu acho que o time também não tem medo de ninguém, os caras são como a gente, treinam como a gente também. É óbvio que eles são os favoritos, mas eu tenho certeza que vai ser um jogo de frente a frente também. Cara, me aguardem, mano. Eu tô na minha melhor fase, eu não tenho medo de ninguém e é isso, mano.
Yeah, obviously we haven't lost a map this tournament in the first map in this tournament yet. We've always kind of started with a 1-0 lead, so it's a new experience for us on LAN, but nothing we haven't experienced at home. Obviously, like this team, we kind of have this like running joke of like the team last year and even a bit this year is like we never start out hot, like we're always a slow starting team. And so, you know, we kind of joke around about that, but in reality, like it's about how we finish. Like we're a really, really strong team, and the game is never over until obviously map 3 comes around. So yeah, we're really excited that we were able to get the win today because it shows like how much resilience we have, even though we're on the back foot. We've won games, you know, with the map advantage. We've won games with, you know, the map 1 loss. So we've won on kind of both sides of the spectrum, and yeah, we're feeling good about that. Yeah, I think we can definitely reach the playoffs undefeated, and I think 2G is a really good team, but you know, with the loss today against Gallerants, I think the way that they play is like, you know, very similar to stuff that we're already used to in this tournament. I feel like a lot of teams kind of play similar, so we're going into this match ready, excited, and just kind of ready to punch our ticket to the #1 seed, you know, like we finally get the group stage over, get to where the real business is in playoffs, and see how far we can go. What message would I send to 2G? I'd probably have to say, be careful if you like to talk shit. I think it really hypes us up, so probably wouldn't do that against us this match. But yeah, other than that, good luck and have fun.
It's time for the second match of the day, and it's 2Game going against M80. Welcome back, everybody, to Valorant Ascension Americas. And things are getting messier and messier, as we talked about from the beginning, but when things are messy, you want that reliable team of M80 to come through and really show everybody else what they're capable of doing. But it's not going to be easy, though, as the past couple matches haven't really been for them, because 2Game is one of those teams that have surprises right throughout the tournament. They've been doing really good, and the question is, can they get past this M80 squad?
Yeah, I think in the beginning of the tournament, the question was whether 2Games' double duelist style was going to be able to match, you know, the expertise of some of these teams that have played duelists their entire careers. And the answer to that has been undoubtedly yes, they can. They have 2 players that can go head-to-head with the best duelists in this league right now. That's Silence, that's Spike. Both of these players are extremely flashy. They're very consistent, and they also have a great support team that goes along with them to help set them up for success.
Really cool to see this team being so complemented and so well put together to make these kind of compositions work, Emily, when we're seeing a bunch of different duelists played by one or the other, and then you see the support, as Roy was saying, around it to make sure that they're making these work out.
Yeah, in listening to the interview, they were saying kind of what we could tell of how when they were playing that they were running out of ideas eventually, so they kind of just went with the flow. And sometimes it's like that, especially if you go into a lot of OTs, you kind of just go with what you got and what's been working and just utilize that. Spike, we have on the screen his #1 ranking for KDA. 1.8 on that KO. I love my KO players, and Spike is a player that we've been highlighting pretty much throughout groups because he's just a star. Is somebody that you can always count on that will get the job done, and he's been pretty consistent too, I would say, throughout groups, but also through regional splits has been playing extremely well throughout the entire year.
And not only Spike, but we also have the other duelists on the side of 2Game, Roy, and that's Silent, that has also had some great moments. We continue to see the flexibility for these 2 players, and we continue to see a Silent that when he needs to come up and perform, he's going to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching Silence play because you can just tell he just looks super chill. He doesn't really ever look phased, and obviously the results are there for him. He's #2 in multiple areas, including the ACS, damage per round, and utility kills, probably coming in from the Bladestorm. And of course, he's incredibly good at finding those opening fights. And this is, in my opinion, such a unique dynamic because we don't often see teams that are structured this way, where 2 players are playing the duelist roles, but also still finding an immense amount of success statistically and in the game, which is kind of interesting to see. But now they're going to be going up against, of course, the M80 side, the Koala Noob, and that's going to be quite a test of their ability and their skill.
Silence also played incredibly well versus TSM, you guys. I just want to make note of that. That was probably his best game from all of groups. He went plus 26 in that BO3 series.
Wow.
And you guys, he has a really scary op. So if they want a chance against M80 today, they're going to have to really utilize that off because that's what really works well for Silence.
It's a very different style to what we see on the side of M80, where here on the side of 2Game, you have these two crazy duelists that they're alternating between what they're going to be playing on each map, and then you have an M80 that has a completely different idea of how they want to play this game. We have a lot of maps where we're seeing Koala Noob on the Yoru, and maps where we're not seeing him in the duelist at all. So it's very different, but it makes this matchup so interesting too, because we talked about what's on stake, and it's a 2Game needing to win this matchup. For everybody asking, and for all the fans, all the family, of course, watching and supporting M80, they are already guaranteed for playoffs, but we know that that doesn't mean they're gonna make it easy for 2Game. They're gonna be fighting until the very end, because this is what M80 likes to do, Emily.
Yeah, M80 is a team that we think very, very highly of, and it shows. Yes, some of their matches in groups have been close, a lot of them in OTs, 13-11s, and multiple OTs. But at the end of the day, this is a team that we all know and love that has the unmatched experience, the unmatched chemistry. Some of these players have been playing together for years, for a very long time, and it shows when they're in game. They get the job done at the end of the day, and that's what truly matters too. You have to think of that as a player that maybe some of the maps should have gone in your favor, but a win is a win, if I'm not mistaken, Roy.
Yeah, I think scientifically speaking, a win is definitely a win.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yep, I got you. No worries. I got the science studies right here. But I do want to, of course, talk about, the level of skill on the M80 side. They have been undefeated. And here in Gianni's talking about the level of skill, right? The talent that is in this tournament. The talent pool is not missing talent. The talent is here. That is also another thing that is scientifically speaking.
Wow.
Yep, you like that?
We should all put our lab coats on, because this is getting serious right now with all the science. But I like to see this on the side of Koala Noob and what he's talking about, not only praising their own performance because of how well they've been doing, but also praising the other teams, praising Brazil, praising Latin America, because these matches for M80, Roy, they have not been easy at all.
Yep.
And it's, as BCJ was saying in that interview that we just got the chance to see, it takes resilience to make sure that they're winning these matches against these very, very tough opponents.
Yeah, the TLDR of M80 is the fact that their macro game, their strategic game is the best in the league by far, but their individual form has not really been that consistent. They're kind of alternating players right now, popping off, but that's not consistent. They need more than one person trying to pick up the slack and pick up the kind of the heat, right? Because now you're going up against 2G, a team that has very flashy, very consistent performers, and if you're not able to match them mechanically, strategy just isn't really going to save you.
It's not going to be easy, but you mentioned about those players needing to step up, and that is what Net specifically has been doing. I remember 2 days ago when we were watching this guy, he was struggling in a couple of the maps. Then you see him yesterday. Oh my God, Emily, he looks like a different player. He looks like the Net that we know and love, of course. But it's not only Net, it was also Nismo yesterday. So it feels like everybody's having their moments throughout not only the whole tournament, but throughout the series to have to be the difference makers and make sure that the rounds are being closed out because of them, and the rounds are starting well because of them.
When I think of KO, I think of Nismo. This is a player that I love to study if I ever want to improve my KO gameplay, and Nismo's mindset is actually just incredible and unmatched. Even though his team was winning, he said, I'm still disappointed in myself. I know I can do better, and it showed yesterday. Nismo really stepped up to the plate. He had a KDA of 2, which really increased throughout the series. And this round right here was a fun one to watch. He got an ace, he got a 1v3 clutch, and this pistol was so important. M80 really needed that pistol to secure this map win for them versus TSM. And they ended up pulling through thanks to Nismo and his insane aim here. This was very much needed for him to boost his confidence.
Yeah, and Nismo, just to remind us, he is the leader in assists per round. He has the most assists, also the most assists per round basis. His level of support is insane, and he's going up against another pretty insane support player, Zap, a player on the Brazilian side that has really stepped up this tournament as well.
That's a really cool matchup between the two. You see Nismo on one side, and then you also see Stab, that, as we've been mentioning for the past couple of days, he is, and he's been saying that he's giving to the team what the team needs. He's being the guy that's screaming and feeling confident and yelling at the other team, but also the one who's telling them what to do, trying to fix those mistakes as the rounds go by, Emily, and making them work out, because it's not going to be easy against M80, knowing that this M80 team, they made it to playoffs. They have nothing to lose right now.
Yeah, they're 4-0. They're the only undefeated teams for their matches. So they've got it easy right now. Not much pressure. This is the time where they can do trial and error. See, test the waters of what could work for their playoffs that they have next week. And I think that's really exciting going in today, because we have 2G, on the other hand, who really, really need this win. And it's going to be a tough win because it's versus M80. That's a strong team. I do feel like 2G does have a chance to take the series if they really look and exploit the weakness, if they can find one, from M80 of the day, Roy.
Yeah, I mean, M80's weakness has actually been pretty clear. If you disrupt them, if you kind of interrupt their flow, interrupt their process of retaking, executing, taking map control, default, like if you're somehow finding a way to imprint yourself on their footprint, I think you're actually kind of getting in their way. And that's something that 2G has done extremely well, and I would like them to do in this match as well. Just start the match aggressive, take over the tempo, try to make M80 play on a pace that they're not really used to, or a pace that makes them uncomfortable.
Some teams have been able to do that so far in a few of the maps. I mean, we talk about this M80 team be undefeated before or no right now, but 3 of the matches, they went the distance. They went to the third map, and a lot of them going overtime, a lot of them going 13-11. So this is not an M80 that's destroying teams and taking them down 13-1, 13-2. It's a team that is adapting as they go. And so for 2Game, what they need to do here is understand that M80 are more than comfortable playing that long game, and work around how they're gonna make that own pace go their way, because 2Game, again, they need this win. And if not, we're thinking about those ties that are gonna be happening at the end of the day, Roy, that none of the teams want to deal with. You want to have your future be in your own control.
Absolutely. I mean, 2G losing right here would feed into the chaos machine, but a 2G win right here would be almost comical, because they would be like, okay, well, we were not really expecting that, and then now the last 2 spots would just be just in shambles. The last 2 spots would be absolutely in shambles. So I think either way, whether a win here for 2G or a loss here for 2G, would be kind of tense for the remaining spots for playoffs.
And it seems like it's about time that we see the players walk on stage. And Emily, I want to ask you, if you're on the side of M80, you're undefeated. You're also guaranteed playoffs already. And the players that are talking about playing like they have nothing to lose, and that's how they're this scariest. How do you deal with it if you're more on the side of 2Game, of this scary team that is already scary by themselves, and now they're playing with full confidence?
Yeah, well, 2G was saying in their interview they aren't scared coming in and playing versus M80, because they've been probably seeing that some of their matches have been a little bit scrappy, to say the least. And so I like that they're coming into this match with confidence, because it is really all about that. And for M80 too, I mean, this is a team who doesn't settle for just winning. They want to win clean. They want to win and make a statement. So I'm expecting a really tight-knit game here from both teams, because like I said, both of them just have this really interesting and strong mindset. And as they come into this huddle that I love to see, this is the moment where they're reminding of all the moments that they reviewed, and just reminding of the game plan, taking one map at a time. Also, yes, they have a marathon of potential 3 maps in this VO3, but it's one map at a time. You want small goals, achievable goals, and this is what they're talking about right now, hyping each other up.
Taking it step by step. It seems like that is the dream for these teams, especially for 2Game today, as now we get to jump into the Zippo map select. Let's find out where we're gonna be headed, Roy, because the series for 2Game, more than anything, it could depend on this.
Oh, the Lotus. I love that. I feel like since the swap from M80, their Lotus actually hasn't looked that strong, but I'm assuming because they picked it, they're very confident with the adjustments that they've made and the mistakes that they've corrected since they last played Lotus.
And also remembering that we saw this M80 team running with the Yoru on this map, so maybe something that 2Game has been cooking and understanding and reading on what M80 can do here. And Emily, now we get to see the Blacklight Agent select. We talked about the Yoru is going to be played right there by Koala Noob.
Yeah, it's a good choice for them. He's been playing Yoru on multiple maps, so they're looking very happy going in also. And Lotus, I don't think we've seen 2G play Lotus yet for this event, so let's see what they got today.
Well, let's find out who is going to get the win here. Is it going to be M80 or is it going to be 2Game starting strong with the first map win of the series on their last day of the group stage? And this time we send it to your casters as Shift and Vance.
Yoru v Neon. Oof, should be pretty saucy. And here's the thing, you know, we've seen Koala Noob on Yoru now a couple of different times, and it feels like flat out he plays well, team wins. There's a lot of resilience and reliance, maybe is the better word, for what we expect from this M80 team, kind of putting all of the effort in towards what Koala Noob can produce for this team, especially when they're on the offense.
Yeah, when you're looking at it with an agent compositional change for M80 that went into this one, and usually a map that you see a lot of raises or neons, it's almost confirming here that Dismal's off that roll. But I don't have time to talk. We're going straight for a fight for C main control, and it's a 1-for-1 to start things off. At least there's still smokes available, but both duelists trying to make a play, trying to create space on either side. Both give their lives away.
Yeah, that's very 2Game-esque. Force the issue early, get some tempo involved, see if we can maybe create an opening that would not be expected. Like you mentioned, it is just duelist for duelist. Hit over towards B on the way. DCJ going to be trusted to throw in the first bit of utility. That's enough for Nismo to peek through, find a counter pick. Prowler now at the ready. That's going to be sent in blindly. 2G just trying to hold on to the ground best they possibly can, but the kills are not there. M80 coming out very nicely with 3 for 1. The essential exchange, and then the shot to the smoke for Xander will also land. Clean retake for M80.
Yeah, when you look back at it, it's so far everything that Roy's been mentioning at the desk, right? 2D trying to up the tempo very early, trying to make M80 feel very uncomfortable, but M80 was already ready with this double mount here towards that C side. And that's what maybe we're looking at his composition with the Yoru onto M80 instead of playing a jet that Koala Noob used to play in the past, or a Raze that Koala Noob almost never plays. It's to adjust to what he's comfortable in, and an agent that he's comfortable to play outside than a jet, and it seems to be the next best bet to be this Yoru. And it still allows for you on this defensive side to get this forward position to try to get your nice timings against the Neon. We've seen some nice shots that he's done with and off close range on a Neon dashing towards him on Sunset. I wouldn't be surprised to see this again here on M80's end. I mean, look at him. He's already pushed all the way up with an outlaw, and he's created all that space while 2G is inside C.
Yeah, Net, though, still holding inside the star cover. Supplying support is Xander. Just getting another smoke in play. Maybe trying to use this spy cam to reopen the doors. Planted. And interestingly enough, 2G's not going to back off and play through Mound just because it is just classics in a frenzy. So they have to play by this deeper hit over towards C Hall. DCJ, oh, really good sees. Locks in a couple of different players, and then the follow-up from Xander through Waterfall is perfect. Sure, the plant comes through, but it will be a Blacklight flawless for M80 on their retake again.
And that's really important to pay attention to what Net was doing in that round. He stayed alive towards the Waterfall, looking at this composition that doesn't allow for you to get too much scans outside of your fade. He keeps the camera tucked inside the C site and doesn't really pull it up until the team's ready to retake the site. So he pulls that up, it sees all the information towards the back of the site. That's why the C's was so perfect. And you follow up with all the concussives around the breach utility. There's no opportunities there for 2G to flip the map, to play back towards the spawn, where when they started the map, they had a great read. 3 players pushing over that site on A. They have a Neon, they could book it over towards the C side. They flip the map, but they meet up with so much util towards the end.
Yeah. Okay. Strong bonus here for M80 in terms of weaponry that they've got available to them. But as you'd figure, round 3 advantage does still technically move over to 2G's direction, thanks to the fact of having full rifles, full armors, and a lot of space to work with, at least over through the door towards A. Prowler to confirm they can move in if they want to, and then Xander through the smoke again finds himself an elimination onto Spikes. And just as soon as you thought 2G was about to hit the trigger, their initiator's down.
Man, And the second initiator, at least on the other end, is, yeah, exactly that. Dismal falling to silence, trying to find a timing there, thinking that everybody was committed more towards Rubble. So you instantly tie things up on a 2-2. Full range, though, with the judge, it's BCJ.
Yeah. Doesn't even care, just deletes the Prowler instantly. Sees Flash also in the play. BCJ still fighting. Lots of damage has been tallied. And now he can get to work with utility of his own. He's got help nearby. Nets joined the party. And there's just no crossing this small door if you're 2G. They need to find some sort of creation from Silence over towards this backside at B and try to dissuade this setup on the B link.
Definitely going to happen. That's a win con. Break that trip, force the players to turn around, and boom.
Oh, missed
goes the dynamite.
Oh! Or does it? I mean, that's not common for Silent. He has been unbelievable for this 2G squad. He had a freebie at least. Misses it, whips it, and wouldn't you know it, M80 survived the pinch, and that's a bonus win. And like the desk had also said, it's not just the fact that M80 is really starting to come to life from the individual standpoint. The whole squad is just looking much better day to day.
And look at that. The last moment of fighting back towards Unbreakable. As soon as Silence found that opener and got the timing, they push back on that side. They still have support from Xander on the A side with the Bulldog, so it's nice for them to push back into the positioning that was being held very passively by 2G. And unfortunately, that win condition not in favor of the Brazilian side breaks their economy going into this one as well. And they have to go back into the tried and true of just trying to prod the information first, maybe trying to get some warps up quite early. Yeah, and that's not going to happen for at least Silence on the C side.
And this is the other thing about it is because that gun round goes awry for 2G, the Outlaw, again, looks like an operator here in round 4. Spike, thinking about the high gear, gets caught in the paranoia, relay bolt, taunt, flash, all of it being spent, none of it affecting the M80 defense. I mean, legitimately, nothing affecting the M80 defense. Quality almost gets the pistol swap out, but Luis will stay alive. Not for long, though. Xander with his third on the ball, plus the one tap from Dismo. Works out, dropping 2 in the process, but M80 get to 4-0 early.
And you're starting to see as well, like, people were questioning what it was looking like for M80. Maybe not as impressive to have Qualanoob on this Yoru to start things off on Lotus, but so far, I mean, I'm liking it. You continue with the aggressive angle, down with the Outlaw, down towards C. You still have Net set up towards the C and B side. He's the one actively watching B as well, so that the focus could be on those that have utility to stall and trade. You talk about players that could frag out. It's not just about utility around M80. You have BCJ and also Nismo that could frag out as well, and they always have the perfect stack.
Opening exchange once again tilts away with M80, and if they can play with this type of aggression and get away with it, I mean, 2G may as well start talking about Sunset. I mean, this has been overwhelming. Nice bounce back though. Silence gets 2. That's going to reveal Net, who now all of a sudden realizes that he is just up creek without a paddle. This is going to slow him down convincingly, and in that moment, Zap is going to just make sure he holds the high ground towards rope. So this should be a very confident post-plant setup for 2G.
Net has been good in clutch scenarios the last time they played yesterday, but overall, though, it comes down to a 1 versus 2 with 0 information. So he's going to have to be meticulous one, but still very quick in the tempo. The advantage here for Net is that there is a separation on the positioning of 2G. Not set up for an immediate trade because Zap is right there with full utility to try to stall in the back of drop, and Silence is going to try to watch his back. So they are banking it on trying to play to win based off utility and not off the gunfight. So the tempo's still controlled by M80 so far, despite now Net falling back to save his weapon, and the first round coming in here for 2G.
Yeah, again, it's just, if M80 can, whoa, that's a mistake. If M80 can keep finding ways to put this existential pressure immediately as soon as the barriers drop, it's just going to force 2G to counteract what their normal identity is, which is playing off of some tempo. So you can definitely tell, and like the desk had mentioned, they wanted to see M80 come out with a little bit of passion, a little bit of, you know, I think fury, and they've done that to this point. So an opportunity to potentially keep that up, but a good bounce back here to get on the board if you're 2G.
You're going to get very soon into the moments where you could start cycling ultimates, and one thing that was really nice watching M80 with these ults, especially the one available from Yoru, is trying to cycle that around the Yoru ult. So as he comes in and he provides information, it allows for you to get all that support utility ground to flood back behind. If not, it's going to be a Nightfall with a TP within those lines so they don't hear him TP and it gets a backstab kill. So there's a lot of coordination that's needed to make this composition work, and you can't just pick it up in your rankings and make it succeed.
Nightfall
just avoided here, the Nightfall.
Yeah, this is huge for Net just staying alive, but there's a lot more utility being thrown his way. Quick play for Spikes to clear out the dark cover. And, well, that will be a post plant now for M80 to try to break down.
Tried to go for an early trap play for Spikes. Paranoia for them to push forward. Nobody was there to greet him. So that allows here to with the ult from M80.
It's a good 1-for-1 though for Spikes. All things told. Fry stuck in a corner, not able to shake off the concussive effects. And now all of a sudden BCJ getting to work. He's got himself the Odin just trying to spam down some of the smoke. Quality working on the defuse already. And Louise and Zap are stuck outside the picture looking in. Yeah, really good retake. I mean, I think a lot of that is just thanks to the ultimates at hand. The Nightfall first, the Rolling Thunder second, just really cleaning up the space inside the site, and the players on Mound just no chance to fight through the smokes.
Once they finally realized, too, that there was an overextension coming out from Spike from the waterfall, BCJ went for the instant ult. It doesn't cover all of sight, but it's good enough to get the ping and to scare the Neon away, to not allow her to get too much space on her side, and even for players to start playing outside of the site. Those that stayed within, you saw it, got caught here by the Rolling Thunder by Nismo, and everything else was history. So it continues to be very, very quick in terms of M80. When I think about Valorant, I think about Brazil usually. Everybody's been thinking about the W style before Gamer Ranking even started. It's really M80 that's dictating this pace.
So here's an opportunity, but that's a really nice setup with Koala holding the corner with Nismo. First Outlaw shots hit, and then all of a sudden they teleport away from it and they split the focus. So yeah, Spike gets one, but it's not enough to actually enter out the B site whatsoever. So really good stuff here. Again, for M80, just diversifying their setups, not getting caught. The transfer, a little bit awkward for BCJ, but Zap also takes a lot of damage. And as Louise falls, it will just fall onto Zap with 21 health.
And concluded with right there the combination out from the Kitten to Xander. So nice little Prowler to spot him inside the smoke, already giving your body away. I mean, at this point where the tempo's been very quick, I would have been okay too with Zap just to hold it back instead of throwing his life away that fast, so that they could actually add more time into the timeout to even continue to talk within the next rounds. Because now you only have a minute instead of a minute and 40 seconds. Of course, there's a freeze time right after, so this could have given you a lot of time here to really figure out how M80 is really trying to work this map. If they force the Euro TP quite early onto one side, maybe they'll realize where the weak side is. But they also have to figure out how to contest against the flood retakes from M80. That's really, really good so far.
Again, it's just one of those things that's like, this play style for 2Game you can appreciate in terms of quick execution leading to quick plants, but M80, we've said this a lot. Like, I almost feel like I'm repeating myself from just a couple of days ago. They're fine just holding back, not using too much utility, and then spending it all on retakes. It's just because 2Game have to be so heavy-handed with their executable abilities of their own, there's not much to hold off M80 when you've got things like fault lines, flashes, seizes, haunts, Yoru just diving in, decoys. I mean, it's just, there's so much opportunity for them on these small sites to just completely overflood you. So you have to try to play a bit of an ability exchange game early, you know, to see if they can like pull out things like a fault line or pull out a haunt or a prowler, make M80 a little uncertain of where the hit is, force them to use some utility just for scouting out and then hit. It's just, they're not finding that existential pressure yet. And I think a lot of it is because M80 are finding so much value in just stacking the barriers and playing down, you know, either A or C aggressively.
Yeah. And that's why it almost shows sometimes that you still give a lot of responsibility over to Net because of these stacks, because of utility for floods and whatnot. That's why lurks are super important. You're hoping that Silence or somebody else here could play that 1v1 and make Net not look good on the defensive side to show these gaps that M80 will be forced to, you know, retake with utility even in backlines before moving inside the site.
Yeah, I mean, that's just different right there. You pop a door, Nismo's holding the fault line, but there's no follow-up utility whatsoever. They're trying to instead cut over towards stairs side. BCJ supplies the trade. damage being tallied on both sides, but Nismo still holding over towards Tree is a threat that needs to be dealt with, and it's just there's no way they could do it. I mean, not with Zap having just a flash left and Silence playing Cypher. You just got to win the angle. There's the wide swing. That's really well done by Silence, but problem is the rest of the defense is now here.
Yep. And even if they need it, they don't. It was good there. They had the Euro ult too to try to scout out the last players, and they go for the buddy system once again from M80, and it pays out dividends. And if that's your timeout and you come into opening a door and get greeted by an Odin, and there's no utilities behind
Where's the follow-up?
As you open it, exactly. Where's the first part? I mean, you have evading your composition. And its prize right there was at the door. He could have prowled in there to find something.
I think he did. I think he did Prowler, but he sent it to the right. He never even looked left. And then on top of that, again, even if he does get Prowlered, I mean, still, fault line connects regardless.
Yes.
So, tough situation, and now all of a sudden back to just pistol upgrades with a Stinger for Spike.
There.
A little bit of aggression showcased over towards Mountain. Keep in mind that QualNoob has gotten the Operator in play. He's seen something. There is the second something. It's almost a full body of the Neon, and well, I think the information has also been mutually earned as 2G are saying, oh, I don't know if we want to go down this road.
Yeah. But I'm liking this at least right here. We're looking at a default that 2G currently has. Silence does have the responsibility to start getting some mid-round information and trying to find his timing so he can try to fight a 1v1. So, or it's going to be Silence fighting against Xander, or it's going to be Silence trying to fight against Net, needing to find openings and backstabs, because that might be another winning condition here for 2G. If M80 are too set in their ways to flood util, they're going to have coordination, as I talked about before. So it's, okay, let's time things out. We're ready. Let's throw it at 47. Let's throw it at 45. And if that type of timing allows the backstab to happen from your lurker, it allows for you to play more totally within the site.
It's just there's so much utility that's finding information. The traps are also landing. It's just M80 are doing everything perfectly.
30 seconds left.
So, Zap, Silence by themselves, two Sheriffs, QualNoob clearing the dark cover, and with 22 seconds of the clock and the spike down, this is just trying to make things as difficult as possible if you're 2G, or maybe trying to find a couple of kills, but they're not even going to get a chance to do that. Flashes out, mid-door pops, and they will be dealt with only finding a single elimination. A speed run through this first half to this point as M80 find themselves convincingly up.
Zap and Silence just got Zap and Silence themselves. Nothing they could do there when you saw that utility that came out to just flood back towards the mountain. But yeah, as I mentioned, trying to test Net within the sites, or he's so good with his utility as how he was anchoring towards that C site that maybe now you're looking at a revamped M80 in their last match here of Ascension, where they look unstoppable from any points or any player in this roster. You know, Dan Dryan mentioned it before. It was sometimes BCG on that first day when it was fighting against the ISO on Icebox and winning every single one of those kill contract duels. Then it came down to Nismo yesterday, also on Icebox, getting so many 4K. Xander had moments in the clutch in other matches, but today it really seems that every single one of these individuals are finding their moment at the same time. And when that happens, holy crap, are they looking scary so far, where 2G has no opportunity to find any type of opening.
No, it's actually facts. Well, TAC pause about to come to its end here for 2G. And again, like, where do you even start the conversation? Like, these maps are tough to bounce back on because nothing's been going right. It'd be different if it was an 8-1 tally and we're dealing with like 3v3s, 2v4s, things of that nature, where you're dealing with like a limited amount of numbers. But these have been clean. We're dealing with 5v3 situations.
Yeah,
pretty much from the word go. So lots of focus here, but this is already going to feel like a bit of a must-win round here for 2G. Rolling Thunder at the ready, Neural Theft as well, plus a full buy. You need to get these back too.
You're also in a competition with 2G where you're supposed to be at the goal line and
later.
Yep. That's unfortunate there. I mean, again, you're coming out of a timeout and then these happen. Your next two gun rounds get dismantled on the first time in at door, and this time towards an opening on the A side where you don't have your lurk anymore, that win con that we were trying to mention before.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, now that I'm kind of reflecting on how this map has gone and taking that back to the first day of games, really the first 2 days where M80, you know, I think all of us were sitting here like, what's happening right now? I mean, these guys should be steamrolling teams like Gallagher. It was not really necessarily happening. And what you're seeing now is it feels like M80 have understood where the holes are in the Latin American playstyle, where hey, if they're not going to throw utility early, let's just get an operator out. Let's just force it, make them have to win a battle or throw extra utility. And even right here, you got a 5v4. You know there's Rolling Thunder in play. Just back off, play retake, use our numbers. It feels like M80 have gotten a really strong read in terms of what these other squads want to do. Oh, good shot.
I was going to say this is where it starts, but the dimensional drift that's trying to find information they can start activating through, but with him falling, it gives a chance then for 2G the pulse plant.
Absolutely the case. BCJ is an elimination away from Nightfall. He finds it. That would be pivotal. There's the little bait and switch swing. Nightfall now on the urn. That'll be used to make sure no one is playing on the backside of the site. No one was home, though. So now it's just down to can you actually break down players inside the site. Really good C's again being played. BCJ trying to come quickly. Does not realize that prize is in the corner. But now Nismo with the bomb. The absolute beat down with the Odin. Just lets it ring out. And that'll be a 9-1 tally to M80.
Oh, that was such a nice start, though, for 2G to kick things off. Yes, you went for timing the push against your opponents to not give him a chance to set up, but it wasn't a backstab. It was just pushing forward, getting that first kill onto Kolonu, not allowing for them to have the cleanest of retakes in terms of utility, but they will have the cleanest of retakes in terms of just fragging capabilities outside of those pendulum swings, those bait and switches that we just saw here, the ping pong swings coming out on the defensive side of M80, and then once again the clutch factor of Nismo winning that 1 versus 2, and again just shutting down 2G.
This time a little bit of movement finesse from Spike that turns into a missed shot from Kolonu, man, and more importantly a critical elimination on the BCJ, who has been a difference maker with this utility out of the fade. So opportunity here for 2G. Weapons aren't great, but they still have a Nightfall to use. And of course the numbers, and it's going to be a wide open C site.
And that's what you mentioned here. When they have so many ults, then just let the C side go, and then you can just play the retake. And I love this little switch from 2G. They know that so far from the ults that they've been playing, for M80, they play outside of the site, so they're just using these ults for post plant and trying to gain space.
Yeah, next positioning is going to be really important here. Does he try to play over through the waterfall, or does he want to try to deny the mound? Looks like he's going to go waterfall side. Ballanoob, he's going to be able to guarantee that this Rolling Thunder is going to hit a ton. Ballanoob teleports on in. There's the blind side, trying to work its way over towards the backside of the site, but Zap is holding on a very good crossing angle. Decent follow-up from Xander. Problem this time is becoming an issue. Net is still not a part of the play yet. He's got to get involved, and he needs to get there quickly. Silence on one corner, double up in the other, and the taps are good from Silence. Spike's able to find his third in the round, and with that, it'll be a second round on the board for 2G.
Hard to do there when you have a Nightfall to answer right back into the Rolling Thunder, and because of these pings, they were just trying to smother the first part. But it's your Neon playing towards the spawn. It's easy for her to just run away, and it's only the Omen that gets caught right in that corner. And it's a sacrificial lamb pretty much, because as he's going to get Rolling Thunder, he's just going to throw a flash towards the spawn. So you have to, at that point, throw some bodies away to guarantee some rounds, and you'll take it any day here to at least give yourself a fighting chance. Now they have Overdrive available, and Spike is looking for that kill right away, and that fast lane finally caught. It cuts a lot of that line of sight here that Kolonu been able to take on the A site.
BCJ sees one in the corner, trying to get to work on the spam through the dark cover. Lots of damage has been tallied, but 2G still find their way into sight. And with the neural theft involved, this should guarantee the plant and a little bit of safety in setting up their post-plant setup as well.
It's off there too, the Overdrive and a TP towards the back of the site too. That kind of overwhelmed M80 trying to anchor it up on that spot. Just trying to play the aim duel that falls out in favor of 2G with the number of players that they had. First off, Joe is kind of close.
Oh, good predictive spam from Silence. I was about to say, I don't know if he anticipates that there will be 2 players here. So getting one is fine. Nice shot from BCJ, and then the follow-up from Net is perfect. They know where Louise is as well. I mean, we just got to hold on stronger than that. It's very predictable. It's a 2v3 situation, and instead of it being a 9-3 half, it ends up being a 10-2.
A 2-3 retake, though, with an operator, and BCJ, rare occasion that you would see him with an op, comes in clutch for a nice little quick scope just at the bottom of the ropes. Oh, man, it was looking like it was going to be a good position here for 2G in the post plant. The strongest hold that they had was down towards the tree with an Odin. But unfortunately, no bodies to fall behind because everybody was just trying to watch their angles and hoping that their crosshair placement was going to be good enough to win the fights. And unfortunately, it was not when M80 is playing the way that they are today.
Here's the other side of it from the macro level of not just this map, but the matchup overall. For 2Game, their most amount of success, and maybe the best way to frame this up is the difference between when they play from an economical advantage versus when they have to play from behind. I think anyone would assume that the numbers would favor when you're playing from ahead, but in particular, it's that way for them. 70% win rate when they're on an eco advantage compared to 25% win rate at an eco disadvantage. The numbers on that is it ranks second best overall in the group stage for the advantage stat, the worst by far when playing at a disadvantage. So you want to talk about M80 coming out and doing what they need to do. They set the tone, they set the pace, and most importantly, they're making 2Game play against one of their worst statistical categories, which is playing from behind.
Yeah. And at least for now, for everybody else that's currently waiting in the sidelines, watching this game, they are happy of the results so far from M80. Because once again, it continues to give a chance for those that are chasing the opportunity of making it into playoffs. They need this 2G loss. They talked about it at the desk a bit, but it stems deeper than that than just 2-3 records. But the map differential, at least right now, if it's going to be a 2-3 scoreline and you're getting smacked the way that you are right now for 2G, if it's a GG go next into the next round, you're hoping it at least goes into a third map so you have map differential, an added tally to the map differential on your opportunities and on your advantage to try to make it through. So 2G here not necessarily out of the race yet here of playoff contention, so they have to keep that in the back of their minds and not worry about the results that M80 is currently showing so far from a strong start on the defensive side.
Oh, big time. And the problem is the numbers don't get better for 2G when they swap the defense. In fact, their offensive side is where they've gotten the majority of their work done inside of their region. So
don't say that.
I'm just the numbers are there. The writing's on the wall. I just got to say, you know what I mean? I get paid to talk, fans. You know this.
The numbers are there as scientific facts, as Roy would say here with Emily on the desk. But no, it's true. It is going to be a tough one, too. And you're looking on the negative side of things is that 2G loses this as an 0-2 with these type of scorelines. Now the round differential becomes very important that you need to close the gap. So, you know, now that I think about it, you have to think about the scoreline in front of you. Try to win this pistol 2G.
Idiots. Little spam around the corner. Then do they have the damage? Zap inside the side. Ooh, almost an opportunity to double down. Doesn't fully work out. Leaving Spike now with really a lot of the legwork to be done over the top of the B side. He can only collect a single Leland. So, Silence working his way in. He's going to realize the bad news, which is that no one else is still here, which means it's going to be a 1v3 post plant. Defuse required. And to make matters worse, if you don't find these kills, you're going to be force buying into essentially a 2-11 tally.
Spike planted.
It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah. And that's the good news for M80. Starting things off, knowing that Silence playing towards the C site because none of that Cypher utility is there. Towards A, so it's just individual 1v1s, but on the side of M80, they have been hitting shots, so they are okay of playing these forward positions in solo spots. And it's basically what you've mentioned here. It has to be a 2-11 scoreline comeback. Attempted now by 2G, and potentially now just force buys after force buys, and it's only a matter of time at this point, unless you're starting to see the cleanest Valorant from 2G on the defensive side, where they always keep 3 or 4 alive to make sure that they're always going to have a strong buy. And in a game like Valorant, where it's an MR12 and you have an opportunity to focus on objectives, defuses, and kills like that.
Whoa!
Spike down, C. I have retrieved the spike.
That's one way of doing it. Fault line out, and Net says, is it my turn? Still looking for it. Tough fights over the top of mounds. Just pixels on both sides. Paranoia is going to be exchanged as well.
Oh, I love
Net
that.
does not get affected by it, so he's on the move forward. Teleport out, and Zap will get just enough help to allow him to take another 1v1. So Xander, 1v3 situation. Still very winnable here, especially with the Vandal, and especially if he catches Silence with the pistol. I was about to say, maybe he catches timing because Silence actually had the knife out, but no, the shot will land, and that's a massive round for 2G with a couple of the weapons to just immediately get recovered.
Oh yeah, and that's how you want to start things off now with Spikes. Again, focusing on what's in front of you, in front of your screen, and catching really some opponents off guard now for M80. And I love this huge quick dash that's going down there from the high gear, because I honestly think that's really going to time the utility that might be thrown by initiators to try to get info quite early into the C-Mount, especially with the Haunt.
Oh,
he's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep doing it.
That's one of those things of like, that's just different. I mean, there's no analysis needed there. That's just run, shoot, click good, get double.
While sliding.
Okay. Profit.
While sliding. From a Bulldog to a Phantom. Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
And the right click burst rifle from LZ also working out, leaving Nismo by himself. And if Spikes can really start to turn things up like this, you never know.
Talked about clean rounds here, Shift. Clean rounds, but they have to keep 4 or 5 players alive, or 3 to 4 players alive. Now they have a Black Light Flawless into this round, and the Econ is blowing now for this team.
Now, I realized when they made the patch to Neon that it made running and sliding a little bit more accurate. I didn't realize they said that it made it fully accurate.
Yeah, you see, you never left CDL. You're pretty much Captain Cold Duty.
Yeah, what the Cold War is that slide cancel? Holy!
Oh my gosh! But at least there, it comes to show that this is still a composed M80, right? You don't want to let this lead slip. They're going to call the timeout right away. They want to stop the momentum that it's already trying to get built up here by 2G. So I think this is a great moment for Happy to call this timeout. But this is also like, oh crap, guys, they are sliding Neon very quickly in these early rounds. Should we stay back more towards the spawn now, if that's going to be the call?
Well,
or
yeah,
try to use more util to fight back. But if you're going to stay more back, your Shift, you're giving more space now for 2G to activate around the map.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's the other part about it is, you know, the conversation, and this kind of stems back to when we sometimes saw even triple initiator on this map, is like, do we try to counter pressure with pressure? Or do we hold back, let them throw things, and then hope that we can kind of work it back at a later point? Like, there's only one of two ways to do this. Either you hit hard and you hit fast, you try to just hope you win out those battles, or you stay super passive, and then you play a long game that ends up having you executing with about 20 seconds left on the clock, it feels like. So
seems to be the first part. Everybody stay towards spawn. Triple watching towards a long B push and using the extremities to try to figure out where the Neon could be at first, right? Xander giving his body to, you know, kind of stick his ear into the wall, and while Net on the other end has the camera to look out. So you are trying to use a little bit more protocol, which is actually pretty good for the side of 2G, because you see that they're not playing as aggressively or quickly before, but they are forcing a little bit of utility at the beginning of these rounds out of M80, which then gives him less to take the site, which then gives him less to hold towards Pulse plants. So I'm liking this mind game so far for 2G. If they keep this up right now, that might be a good game plan to play against M80 so far.
No, I like it. I mean, again, you see it. The initial dark cover gets thrown by Xander over towards this front side to make sure there's no early aggression. Then it gets replaced by 2G. And with the dimensional drift out, fault line, Prowler, that's all going to hit later. Thanks for playing. Follow-up though from Spikes. Are we joking? What game are we playing? Spikes still around the corner with the finger guns now out. He's dealing some damage.
Spike
Price follows up on it. 1v1 around the backside A. And it's just the widest swing you've ever seen from Xander. So now we get a 2v2, 22 seconds on the clock. Spike is in hand, but it needs to make efforts over towards A.
Jump Spot sees him though, at least. So that's body on one. So information that they have to commit towards this A site because there's only 11 seconds left.
Yeah, Zap's on the corner already as well. Catches one for
remaining.
free. 7 seconds. Net going to commit for the plant. Fault line, Aftershock, not fully going to reach, but doesn't make a difference. They could spam him down anyways. Great round from 2G. And I don't hear my volume a little bit. I hear a little bit of a pop-off coming out for 2G. Okay.
Yeah. And they kept only 2 players alive this time around, but they've got flawlesses and 4 games for keeping 3 players alive in this round, so their economy is still pretty good. But you see it from the timeout being told by Happy, keeping it simple, right? Wait towards the spawn where the Neon could set up, and when you're giving them that space, and they're going to take that space here for 2G, you fight back with the dimensional drift to get information and use a utility, just as if you were playing that retake as you were on Lotus. And it worked out the spot, you know, spike towards rubble, but there was a lot of bodies there for 2G getting ready to play around the fade, around the overdrive, around the crossfires. It looks so good, and it continues to do so.
And the thing about this is, like, Neon just does that because there's no punish for it. Doesn't even need a flash, doesn't need a fault line, just high gears the corner, slides it, runs back.
Well, Zap was there at least with the flash this time around. It did blind a few players. And then it allows with the fault with the concuss here, the relay Spike to fall back and it'll check the corner.
Oh, wow. Okay, Spike's good for 4. How about the ace? All right. Right into it. And the thing about that is that get the overdrive back? I mean, he just used it last round, but pretty much ready to have it again. So,
yeah.
Okay.
He used it, died, and then now gets an ace. At least at 6. Get it, you can count it right here. 1 away.
Wow, dude. That's filthy. End analysis. That's what else do you say?
Just digested. I mean, there's nothing else, right?
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Oh, Neon.
Oh, Neon, you crazy lady. Hair's on fire. Wow, bro. That's actually disgusting. Okay, well, M80 stay alive in the first 30 seconds here in this offensive attempt. Already success.
At least now, though, they're trying to clear trip for M80. You know, here one close, they might want to try to just, I was going to say, maybe you want to walk in and play the contact, but they had 2 players on the side here for 2G that were really good and ready to just watch the angles, and yeah, things are falling apart.
Yeah, as soon as Louise gets at least attempted to be isolated, Silence watches the other corner. Perfect play to keep the defense safe. Spike will still be planted, though. 3v5 flank on the way. BCJ trying to work up over towards Waterfall. Double stack there. Zap trying to flush them out by way of the aftershock, and then the Rolling Thunder immediately afterwards. Here comes the Neon from the other side. Nice shots from Nismo. Prowler doesn't land. Doesn't make a difference, though. Prize has got the Odin. Sprays it down. And 2G is starting to boost the volume.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely starting to make themselves heard here so far in the second half, which is not what I would have expected here coming out of 2G because of this composition that you usually see on paper. It's supposed to be quite fast and overwhelming on your attack side, and they haven't found the best results out of that. But in terms of trying to find proactiveness results out of the Neon slide in the first few seconds, kind of like what Dante does for All Knights, but on the attack side, they're doing that well here for 2G on the defensive side here of Lotus. And let's see where the Neon's at right now, getting ready to just run down towards C. And it's just an M80 getting ready to walk up here towards the A side after the spray. Yeah. He's going to hear all of this triple flank happening so far. And he's going to hear the pullback too.
Oh, but Prize, Odin up. Gets some damage in, tries to get the trigger pulled again, but not going to happen. The Rolling Thunder is good for the isolation. Silence. Next one up, and that might be all they need. Double from him. Paranoia comes out, and Xander just sidesteps because, wow, he was tagged and he nearly dropped. So now, 3v3 situation. Spike, Zap, LZ. Last left alive for this retake. Would they anticipate Net lurking this deep? They don't. Check it, and Net's not going to miss his window. Leaving it all now to Zap for a 1v3.
That's why, like I said, it's so important, and there's a lot of responsibilities around Net to get information on either sides. Defensive and offensive side. But Zap at 30 HP, 3, 2, 1 swing. Oh, wait.
Whoa. Winnable. Aftershock drops down. Nismo just trying to kill the clock. They know Zap is at low HP, so he's going to trust the classic with a right click. Zap on for at least partial defuse. Zap gets the shots in. Time is not going to favor him, though, I don't believe. It'll be close, but no, not close enough. They do enough to hold it off because, wow, if he pulls that 1v3 off, we may have a full-on reset into our conversation about how this map is gone.
And that's the unfortunate thing there with trailing behind 10-2. It just takes that one round that's just going to knock the wind out of your sails as you're trying to really swim to shore and not drown here in this battle, in this matchup against M80 for 2G. And again, I was talking about the responsibility from Net. On the defensive side, solo anchoring B and C to get information for the team. Passive information. This time, heard all of that towards the B-side push. And is allowed to find his timing to flank from A.
Whoa, and now the Paranoia is here. Plus the relay bubble quality steps into it, finds the trade. And that will immediately push the defense back towards their side of the map. But wow, is Spike a difference maker? Luis in trouble, teleports away from Mound, flash to make sure he stays safe, but the pressure is not done. Fault line in, Aftershock sees all of it. Luis, Slater, dude, there's nowhere to go. And M80 will back off and take their numbers advantage with them the rest of the way.
And that's just unfortunate because I think he was trying to jump on the boxes before and he got hurt because he missed it and the water made the sound and it just trapped him. Thankfully, though, still a Nightfall to play for the retake, but solo hero plays from Zap towards C. You're spreading and thinning the defensive line from 2G, all solo anchoring. Maybe, though, they seem to be wanting to decide earlier on to pivot towards A, where that utility was there to support Prize, but now at least it's back on to C.
Yeah, I mean, because Prize will have the ability of backing off as soon as he sees information and committing to the Nightfall if he needs to. The issue here is this. Dimensional Drift is going to scout almost everything out. Koala will not fully recognize how close Silence is, but it may not make much of a difference because the hit is already in the way and they're going to rotate back over to B. Prize, caught, completely flash, decoy power. Just things, this Yoru thing. And now it's just down to Silence Operator. I mean, 1v4, this clip would make Reddit if he pulls this off. No, not gonna happen.
You think so?
Nismo wants the knife. Wait, do it!
Wait, it will go on Reddit.
Oh, it's still gonna go to Reddit! Reddit's still gonna be happy! How about it? Nismo will finish with a backstab, and they're saying, where's the noise now? A really tight second half, though, I'll tell you what, especially considering it all started with a force buy in the anti-eco.
Yeah, it definitely kicked things off in the second half. I mean, it's kind of like us here, Ship. We had a slow start here in our cast, but they had a slow start in their series for 2G. But they do look better right now ever since they switched sides. And now they have an opportunity to play on their map pick on Sunset, where that Neon does definitely get a lot of value into that composition. So we're hoping to see here that flash in the pan continue to just create some sort of beacon light and hope here for 2G to fight back in this series and push this to a third map.
And I will say, I think encouraging for 2G fans, you see the cams on stage and there's still smiles like, we gave these guys a go. Like, this wasn't just a one-sided affair like it started on the first side of things. Definitely some momentum to come back into the 2G camp, especially as they will move on to their map selection next. Head off to a break. We'll be back with the desk for the breakdown right after this.